Hey guys, all right. So a few thoughts on fallacies. I've gotten a few questions about a couple particular fallacies. So let me just explain what the idea of fallacies are. Hopefully you've already picked this up from the readings and the videos. And then I'll talk through the examples people have asked us about. Basically, so argument is all about persuading people. And when we persuade people, we try to use logic. We try to use arguments that have evidence and support and that make sense logically. So if I say, for example, the coronavirus spreads quite quickly through personal contact, therefore we can limit the amount of spreading and the speed of spreading by limiting our contact. Because it is so important that we don't overload our hospitals because they can't handle large amounts of people, we need to do whatever we can to slow down the virus. So the most helpful thing you can do is isolate yourself. Now that each piece of that argument can be supported with evidence, and they fit together to make a compelling argument, right? So that's how an argument ought to work. The problem is when we make arguments that are built on bad thinking, on false premises, on errors in logic. These mistakes in our thinking, they sound like logic. They sound like a logical flow of thoughts, but they're not. There's something broken. So this is what we call fallacies. Now, if you've gone over the videos, you should see that there are countless types of fallacies out there, recognizable patterns of wrong thinking. So the most common one is the ad hominem, one of the ones that you're studying. So if someone says, I think we should all isolate ourselves to prevent corona. And I argue back, well, this guy doesn't even wash his hands after he goes to the bathroom. I think we should all do whatever we want. Now, I haven't actually answered his argument. All I've done is attack him personally. That's not logic. It might work, it might look good to certain people, but it's not a real argument. And if you get caught doing it, you look like an idiot. So these are flaws in thinking. Now, the two I've been asked about particularly, one is called hasty generalization. I couldn't find a great video on hasty generalization, but the explanation of it is in your book on the pages that follow the reading that I assigned you. So hasty generalization is basically stereotyping. We make a big conclusion or an assumption about people based on a small experience. So for example, if I were to say, oh, you shouldn't talk to those Chinese people because they're from China and the coronavirus came from China. Well, that's not a real argument, right? It's a generalization. Yes, lots of people in China have the virus, but most people in China don't have the virus. And these Chinese people probably weren't even there. So to attach them to that would be a generalization. I'm taking something that's true about some Chinese people and I'm trying to make it general about all Chinese people. It doesn't have to always be racial stereotyping. It can be about women. It can be about, really anything. If I were to say, the Lebanese students in my class all speak English, so all Lebanese people clearly speak English. Well, that's not true. The group of students I'm interacting with in my class do not represent all Lebanese people, and I would be wrong to assume, to generalize or stereotype. So that's hasty generalization. Straw man is the most complicated one. So this is how straw man works. I'm in an argument with you, okay? You say something like, I think that we should all isolate ourselves and stay at home because of the coronavirus. And then I say, oh really? You think every time that a virus breaks out, we should all go hide in our houses? I think we have to keep living life. Now, what did I do? I argued not with what you actually said, but with a silly version of what you said. The straw man is not a real man. He's a wimpy, silly, fake version of a man. So if instead of arguing with your actual argument, I misinterpret your argument or misunderstand it, represent it incorrectly, and then argue with my own fake version of your argument, this is straw man. Okay? So go back and check out that explanation. Hopefully that helps. And go back and look at that's why I have two actually examples in the videos of straw man. One is a video just dedicated to straw man, and the other one is a part of that intro to fallacies. He does some stuff on straw mans, and there's plenty of examples on the internet. Okay, so later today, or tomorrow, I will make available on Teams an assignment that you need to fill out. It's a form assignment. I need you to identify fallacies that I will give you in a simple sentence and explain why you think it's an example of that fallacy. So explain how this example represents this fallacy. So if I were to give you the example I gave earlier about how this person's from China and that's where the coronavirus came from, so they probably have the coronavirus, you could say this is hasty generalization because it takes something that's true about some Chinese people and generalizes it about all Chinese people. That would be your explanation. I'm going to give you 4 examples. You'll justify them, explain your answer. It's just for a classwork grade. The only reason I'm doing it is to make sure you're doing the reading and to see if you guys are understanding fallacies. Next week, we're going to do something new with fallacies, and you guys will be finding them on your own and posting some things for me and your classmates to see. So for this week, we just want to make sure you can identify them, recognize them. So I will make that form available soon, and it will be posted on Teams. Good luck, guys. If you have any other questions, let me know.